Hare Krishna. We'll continue reading the Nectarian version of the Holy Name by His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj. Um, we are talking in the introduction, so talking about the Haridas Thakura first time. So Haridasa Thakura was unhappy when he heard the Brahmana's fate. Therefore, he went to Shantipura, where Advaita Acharya lovingly took care of him. Sri Advaita gave him food which had been offered to the ancestors and was reserved for the Brahmanas. He declared that as a Vaishnava, Haridasa Thakura was transcendentally situated and to feed him was as pious as to feed millions of Brahmanas. This was intolerable for the Brahmanas of Shantipura, and they declared the Acharya to be an outcast. Later, feeling great regret, they apologized and declared Advaita and Haridasa to be perfect living beings, situated above the regulations of the forecast. Haridasa chanted a daily quota of 300,000 holy names without fail. The first 200,000 names he chanted in a loud, resounding voice. The second 100,000 he chanted softly and as in whispering. And the last he chanted in the mind. Sometimes he would laugh, cry, and dance, or he would faint and fall on the ground. At the other times, he behaved like a madman. But when he spoke out, he revealed deep knowledge and comprehension of the revealed scriptures. People came from far to see him, and finally, he became a political problem. The Muslims were eager to spread their influence, but now a member of very respectable Muslim family had converted to Hinduism and Haridasa was arrested and brought to Hussein Shah. The Muslim ruler forbade him to chant the holy names under the threat of death sentence. Haridasa fearlessly responded, I'm not going to stop Harinama, even if my body is cut into pieces. He was arrested and imprisoned, but in prison, Haridasa immediately started to preach the glories of the Lord name to the other inmates. When they tried to, they also started to chant. The Shah's anger increased even more. He gave the order for Haridasa to be beaten to death in 22 marketplaces. The policemen pounded him until they were exhausted, but through the Krishna's mercy, his body remained uninjured. After this incident, the influence of Harinama quickly spread, and even Hussein Shah became strongly touched by it. Shortly thereafter, Advaita Acharya started his Vaishnava association in Navadvipa and Haridasa joined immediately. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to perform Sankirtana in Srivasa Thakura's house, Haridasa Thakura became an important member of the Nama Sankirtana movement. Then Sri Nityananda Prabhu arrived in Navadvipa and together with Haridasa, under the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they loudly chanted through the lanes of Navadvipa. Those who considered them to be ordinary beggars were told, we don't want food or material alms. We want the alms of Harinama. Chant Hare Krishna. That is our request. That is our instruction. In this way, they preached the importance of Harinama to the inhabitants of Navadvipa, who are mostly scholars or worshippers of Durga Devi. Even sinners like Jagai and Madai were transformed into saints. At the time, Haridasa became known as a Namacharya, the preceptor and propagator of the holy name. When the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu settled in Jagannath Puri, he accommodated Haridasa in a thatched cottage near a tree which later became famous as Siddha Bakula tree. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to see Haridasa every day. Although Haridasa was very old at the time, he continued to chant 300,000 holy names daily. One day, he felt too weak to chant his prescribed number of holy names. Lord Chaitanya visited him and asked, Haridasa, how is your health? Haridasa answered, Master, the body is well, but not the mind. Because of my age, I cannot finish my rounds. The following day, Haridas Thakura passed away in a most glorious way in the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees. This incident is wonderfully described by the Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other devotees came before Haridasa Thakura, who offered his respect to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the Vaishnavas. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, My dear Haridasa, what is the news? Haridasa Thakura replied, My lord, Whatever mercy you can bestow upon me. Upon hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately began great congregational chanting in the courtyard. As he described the transcendental attributes of Haridas Thakura, he seemed to possess five mouths. The more he described, the more his great happiness increased. After hearing all of the transcendental qualities of Haridas Thakura, all the devotees present were struck with wonder. They all offered their respectable obeisances to his lotus feet. Haridas Thakura made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sit down in front of him, and then he fixed his eyes like two bumblebees on the lotus face of the Lord. He held the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his heart, and then took the dust of the feet of all the devotees present and put it on his head. He began to chant the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya again and again as he drank the sweetness of the face of the Lord. Tears constantly glided down from his eyes while chanting the holy name of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He gave up his air of life and left his body. Seeing the wonderful death of Haridasa Thakura by his own will, which was just like great mystic yogis, everyone remembered the passing away of Bhishma. There was a tumultuous noise as they all chanted the holy names of Hari and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, overwhelmed with ecstatic love, raised the body of Haridas Thakura and placed it on his lap. Then he began to dance in the courtyard. Because of his great ecstatic love, all the devotees were helpless, and in ecstatic love, they also began congregational dancing and chanting. The body of Haridas Thakura was then raised into the carrier that resembled an airship taken to the sea, accompanied by congregational chanting. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed the body of Haridasa Thakura in the sea and then declared, "From this day on, the sea has become great pilgrimage site." Everyone drank the water that had touched the lotus feet of Haridas Thakura, and then they smeared remnants of Lord Jagannath's sandalwood pulp all over the body. After the hole was dug in the sand, his body was placed in it. With his transcendental hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally covered the body of Haridas Thakura with sand, chanting, "Hari Bol, Hari Bol." They constructed a platform upon the side, which was protected all around by fencing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and chanted around the platform, and as the holy name of the Hari rode tumultuously, the whole universe became filled with a vibration. This is from Sri Chaitanya Antalila, chapter 11, verses 46 to 70. Haridas Thakura's example continues to inspire devotees all over the world, even to the present day. His message is simple. In life and death, fill your mouth with the nectar of the holy name. In life and death, fill your mouth with the nectar of the holy name, which will provide you with the direct association of the Lord. Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakura wrote a wonderful poem for Haridas Thakura. He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die. When thou art living still in sound, the Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name of the Lord. This is from the Sharanagati, verse 9. I think we'll stop here. So I think it's beautifully explained about Haridas Thakura. You know, is the introduction to Haridas Thakura's precept of the holy name. We all know that we call Haridas Thakura as a Namacharya, Haridas Thakura in our prayers. And you see how Haridas Thakura used to chant 300,000 uh, holy names per day. Even though he born into a Muslim family, he chanted. He's a absolute, real Vaishnava. He has a great soul. And even though Hussein Shah put him in jail, nothing stopped him chanting the holy name, spreading the holy name with his inmates. And he was put into he was beaten to death in 22 marketplaces, but nothing has impacted him, or nothing has touched his body because of mercy of the Lord. And as Bhishma Dev left his body, and Krishna was in front of him, and meditating on Krishna, he left his body. The same here is so merciful and so fortunate, and is very elevated Vaishnava. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, chanted, as we see that how it was described by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there at the end of his life, and by looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and taking the holy name and seeing all the Vaishnavas, roaring with holy name. He left his body, and it was glorified very beautifully in this Chaitanya Charitamrita. And as it says, like, he died with holy name, he lived with holy name. So we have to always, use this life, life after life, just taking the shelter of holy name and chanting with the love, and see the ecstatic symptoms they described, how this devotees with bhava and prema stage, you know they cry, they feel the separation, they do it in a vipralamba bhava. I think this is what we read in the previous book also. So one of the way chanting is in the vipralamba bhava, which has a greatest separation, which is the most impactful. But again, to get there, we also have to do our sadhana and get the mercy of Guru and